Good afternoon, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I am Claudine Del Rosario, and I think there's a lot of information in my bio that was on the flyer, but I'll start with introducing myself as the daughter of Cristina Martinez Del Rosario and of Crisanto Feliciano Del Rosario. I'm a mother to two boys, Timias and Lacan, one of which is half Filipino and half Black. Probably there's a little bit of Native American in there and also some colonizer blood in there. And Tossie, are you on? I think you have to unmute and activate your video. I don't see you on there yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tossie Long. I am the daughter of Chanel and Billy Tossie Long. I am the granddaughter of Alva Anderson and Inez Anderson. I am rooted from the Mississippi red blood clay. That is where I was derived from. My lineage goes back to the Kompongo people in West Africa. I'm coming here in solidarity and in power.
Thank you so much to all the organizers of this event for inviting us to be here and to share this ritual with you. Tossie and I together created Blood and Bone, which is a think tank and a community of practice. Together we practice solidarity. We practice radical wellness by centering and celebrating indigenous technologies in a post-colonial world. One of our community offerings is Monday morning ritual every week at 6:30 a.m. to set intentions for the week, and you're welcome to join. You can find us at blood.bone on Instagram, and I believe it's also in the slide if folks have access to the slide deck. So speaking of radical wellness in a post-colonial world, one of the centering values that Blood and Bone has is that there are times when we must come together to do our work as a Filipino woman and as a Black woman. And there are times that we must do our work apart. And we want to acknowledge and thank the organizers for bringing us together today. And this is one of those moments where we are both called to work separately in our prospective identity groups. So Tossie is stepping out of ceremony right now that is led by a group of Black women. They're doing radical wellness work together. And although it might seem like it's separate, we know that we're working alongside each other toward the same goals. And so we are united and in solidarity. So she will say a few words, but then I will be leading the ritual to close us out of this section of the workshop. This partnership that we have evolved out of a sistership. So me, a Filipino woman, and Tossie Long, a Black woman. And she will say a little bit more about that now.
Yes. So Blood and Bone was derived from our friendship, and it moved to a sistership. So what does it mean to be friends? It started off with us seeing each other and respecting each other, and we moved to sistership when we start to love each other and value one another. And in order for us to deepen that relationship, we had to look at how patriarchy, systemic systems of oppression, colonialism, racism, feminism, all those different things affect our relationship with each other to be more intimate and loving with one another. So it was an investment in our love of one another, an investment in our relationship. That is the origins of Blood and Bone, where we said, and it's rooted in our indigenous practices. It's Claudine and I looking at each other and saying, I love you as who you are, and you love me as well, and we got some things to talk about, so this vulnerability and this love can come together even closer. That is the origins of Blood and Bone. That is the work that we do. We are the community of practice when you want to practice the solidarity work, when you want to practice the self-reflection work. We are those two women who does indigenous practices, rooted in indigenous practices, rooted in love, and rooted in vulnerability. Dismantling racism, dismantling colonialism within ourselves first, to our community, and to the world as a whole. With that, I'm gonna turn it over to my sister, Claudine. I'm gonna step back into my ceremony. I will be lifting up my voice. I will be dancing in solidarity with you, replenishing myself through our spiritual practices as you replenish yourself through yours. Ashe, Ai Bobo, and so it is. Peace.
Thank you. So we've designed together this ritual for you all, to thank you all, over 900 of you, for the work that you have done and for what you are doing today. You are all on the front lines of this work. And I know many of you, and you've been on the front lines of this work for years, some of you for decades, some of you for your entire lives. This moment is designed to recognize, to acknowledge, and to thank you for your labor. We know that you don't get recognized nearly enough for what you do. And even just thinking about all the work that you did this week that went uncelebrated. Reflect on that, the conversations that you had with people, the organizing that you had to do, and the preparation you had to do for this event. For those of you who are parents, the hard parenting moments that you had, the moments that you had supporting your friends. We want to celebrate you now, and we invite you to celebrate yourself. This work can be exhausting spiritually, physically, emotionally, and let's face it, it can be toxic. This liberatory work in a world that is designed to exclude and to divide can have toxic effects on us who are trying to liberate ourselves and all of those who are oppressed. We thank you for your sacrifices. Your work is important. You make a difference. Your work makes a difference. Your work impacts our community, and you have an impact in the world. And I'll say that the Filipino community's work in solidarity has largely been invisible. My work in government, I know that from my perspective, historically, our strength and our brilliance has been rendered invisible or silenced. And right now we want to put a spotlight on it. For those of you who have been carrying the torches of hope for liberation for all people, your brilliant and powerful work is and has been a trailblazer for the transformation that is happening and that is yet to come. So now in this moment, we want you to take care of yourselves. We want you to give to yourselves. We want you to take care of each other. And we need you to do this because you deserve it, because we deserve it, and because we need you to go back out there and keep doing this work. So what I want you to do right now is to take your hands and to start rubbing them together. Start rubbing them. And as you rub them together, feel the heat in your hands. And in Tossie's tradition, she would say that energy that you're building up in your hands, just keep rubbing them. It's called ashe. In the Chinese tradition, we would call it qi. And then in our Filipino tradition, I honestly don't know what we would call it because our lines have been cut by colonization and we are doing the work of excavating those lines. But maybe we can say lakas or strength. So we're building up some energy between our hands, just keep rubbing them together. Flowing through your hands, through your blood, and through your bones is the energy of your ancestors, the energy of this land. I'm sitting on Ramatush Ohlone land. If you know the names of the original protectors and stewards of your land, you can say that out loud. So our ancestors, meaning your blood lineage, but also your community lineage, because you're called here and you are called to do this work by our ancestors. Don Boholanu Mabalon, Bill Soro, Larry Itliong, Eric Fructuoso, Helen Toribio. If you have other people that you want to speak out loud, go ahead and say their names now. Particularly those warrior ancestors that call you to do this work. And as you keep rubbing, feel that heat, feel the energy and the heat gather. And now that you've got that in your hands, I'm going to ask you to take your hands and lay them on your head. The head represents the east, the wind, the direction from which the sun comes. The light dawns in the morning and spreads over the earth. Air is associated with the transmission of thought, memory, intelligence, bestowing, and reception of wisdom and insight. This energy brings about my personal understanding. Take a deep breath with your hands on your head, and what do you hear? For us, we practice kapwa, which can loosely be translated as I am not me without you. So I am not me without you, your body. Speak to your body and come back to your body, your head. Then take your hands and place them on your belly. This represents the south, fire. The southern sky is where the sun is at its highest, the direction for warmth and growing. The sun's rays are powerful in drawing life from the earth. The element of fire can be likened to the power to act. Fire represents the passion, drive, and determination that gets me to my goals. Kapwa, I am not me without you. Then I invite you to take your hands and place them on your heart. This represents the west and the water, where the sun sets and the day ends. The element of water represents our emotions, mystery, inspiration, and prophecy. This is a deep well of power. The power of water not only brings an unstoppable force, but also allows me to be malleable, to accept the changes to come without losing myself. Kapwa, I am not me without you. Now I invite you to take your hands and bring them to the base of your spine. This represents the earth, the direction of the north. This brings the cold winds. The winds are cleansing, causing the leaves to fall and earth to rest under a blanket of snow. Earth is the element of solidity and all things tangible. Earth is the element of solidity. It represents safety, security, stability, and things taking shape. It gives matter to my intent. Kapwa, I am not me without you. And then I know there are more than 900 of you and you probably have your cameras off, most of you, but if you take your hands and hold them up to your sides and imagine that you're holding, especially in this time of social distancing, imagine that you're holding them up to all of your brothers and sisters who are on this call. I am not me without you. And imagine your community, more than 900 people here, but thousands strong who are not on the call. And take your hands again, place them back on your body, on your lap. And it's that trinity, right? The laying your hands on your personal land, your body. Your hands that carry the energy of the land of our ancestors as well. And we hope that with this ritual that we practice today, that you can remember to acknowledge and to thank yourself, take breaks, take rest, and celebrate yourself. Thank you.